Good afternoon. This is the January 14th, 2025 meeting of the Appointments Committee. All members are present. Karen Shoup, Corey Fellows, and I am Bill Donovan. So we will get started. Okay, suppose. Call to order, we've done. Roll call, we've done. Public comment. Not as many people as I had hoped for.
No one online either that has their hand raised.
Approval of minutes. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Comments on the minutes?
Oh,
Nope.
Chair Donovan, it was a delayed on my end. There is someone online for public comment.
Oh, good. Thank you. We will recognize the person online at this time.
Hi, how's it going? Andy Blanchard, 112 Maple Ave. So I don't know if this is like, it's probably already a part of the charter or something like that, but I was just inquiring. So I'm on the Shellfish Commission. I'm actually calling from the Clam Flats right now. And I was wondering if it was possible if we could get the second alternate that most of the other committees have. We've had a bit of a trouble getting a full quorum the past year. And I noticed that we're one of the few committees that just doesn't have a second alternate. I don't know what the process would go about getting a second alternate, but I think it could be helpful to having more participation.
Thank you. Kristen, what is our policy on?
I'd have to look it up exactly, but I believe that has to go to rules and policies. And
Okay,
it's gonna be part of an amendment to whatever chapter that is. I don't know that off the top of my head for the committees.
okay.
Is he saying that they currently have, like, under the charter, there's only one alternate?
Correct.
And they, okay, not.
And
that
they're
they have an
looking
open
for a
spot,
second.
They
Yeah.
want to create a second alternate position. Yeah, that would be rules and
Rules and
policies.
policies.
We have to change, which is not unreasonable.
Yeah, and
Now,
I think rules and
you're right.
policies will end up having a meeting coming up, so that's something we can ask the chair to put on the agenda if that's something that you
I
would like to
think we
see.
all agree that it would be worth looking at, and I think the citizens' comments are quite appropriate. And we'll see at the next Rules and Policies Committee meeting if we can evaluate that and act on it. But thank you. Other public comment? Seeing none, we are at item 5, town clerk updates.
I think we had, I don't think we had we voted on the minutes?
No.
I think
Oh,
we had a seconded
thank you.
motion for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Item 5 is town clerk updates.
I don't really have much today to report on. The tree care advisory board, we're looking to start that up pretty soon. There was only one applicant we've had so far. Allison has been promoting on the newsletter. It's been up on the website. It's on the application, everything like that. But at this point, there's only one applicant. So we're hoping to get that up and going. And Brett Frank, the Deputy Public Works Director, is going to be staff liaison to that. We don't have council liaison yet, but that should be coming to you guys soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 6, review applications and possible action to various committees and boards with vacancies and term expirations. And we have before us, as the clerk has done an excellent job of providing us an outline of what action needs to be taken on a number of boards. And we will start at the top of the page, which is the ADA Advisory Board. It's noted that there are 5 vacancies, which include 1 member with a term to expire December 2025, and 5 full voting members. The recommendation is none at this time. Any action required of us at this time?
There is not for this one.
Thank you. Board of Assessment Review is the second item on the agenda. 2 vacancies, 2 members with terms to expire at the end of this year. The staff recommendation is that Sue Russo, interim town manager, recommends David Bork and Rebecca Hatt. And the recommendation by the staff is to move to appoint David Bork as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028. Leroy Crockett as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. Jean Marie Caterina as first alternate with a term to expire 2027. And Rebecca Hatt as second alternate with a term to expire 2028.
Can we make that a motion or
So moved.
second?
Thanks. Discussion.
Fine with these recommendations?
Same.
Same? All in favor? Thank you. That is unanimous. Coastal Waters and Harbor Advisory Committee, 2 vacancies, 2 members with terms to expire at the end of this year, 2 full voting members. Staff recommendation is Darren Granada, the Harbor Master, recommends reappointment of Mike Slavin and Tyler Davis. The recommendation by staff is to move to appoint Mike Slavin and Tyler Davis as full voting members with a term to expire 2028. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Community Services Advisory Board. 4 vacancies, 4 members with terms to expire December 31, 2025. 3 are full voting members and a second alternate. Staff recommendation is Nick from Community Services recommends Daryl Wright as a full voting member, Dennis Meehan as a full voting member, Carolina Sands as first alternate, and Mike Slavin as second alternate. The recommendation from the staff is to move to appoint Brittany Jackson as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. Darrell Wright and Dennis Meehan as full voting members with a term to expire 2028. Carolina Sands as first alternate with a term to expire 2028, and Mike Slavin as second alternate with a term to expire 2028. The recommendation would be the subject of a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
I'll just say that these are great recommendations. Dennis Meehan, I think you know, is part of the Little League and Sea Dogs. He's gonna bring, I think, a lot of value to it. And then I love that Mike Slavin's coming over from, he's also on the Coastal Waters Committee. And I know we've had some overlapping issues. So I think this is one of our goals, was to try to have the boards kind of intertwined a little more. So I'm just happy to see this.
That's great.
Yeah.
That sounds very encouraging. Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Conservation Commission. 3 vacancies, which include 3 members with terms to expire on December 31, 2025, and these are 3 full voting members. Applications have been submitted by Catalin Barry, Carrick Gamble, and Kathleen Miller. Let's see. Kathleen would like to renew and has submitted a new application. Kathleen Miller. The staff recommendation comes from Jimmy Fitch. The Sustainability Manager recommends reappointing Kathleen Miller and appointing Carrick Gamble and Catalin Barry as alternates. Okay. Recommendation from staff is Move to appoint Kathleen Miller as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028. Christine Labrie, I think that's how that's pronounced, as a full voting member with a term to expire 2026. Creighton Silsby as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. Garrett Campbell as first alternate with a term to expire 2028. And Catalin Berry as second alternate with a term to expire 2028. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So the staff recommendation doesn't exactly match up with Jimmy Fitch's recommendation. But I think that may just be a matter of shortcut on Jimmy Fitch's part.
Are we moving Creighton up?
Yeah.
Okay. Kristen Lever, full voting member.
Yeah, so Creighton is currently an alternate, so he's
Alternate,
being moved
Christina.
up to a full voting member, and then the two new members would go into the alternate positions.
Kristen, this all looks in order?
Yeah.
Good. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none?
Yeah, I'm just happy to see Caitlin Berry. She's been waiting patiently for over a year to get on a committee. So it's great to see that she's there.
Nice.
And then Carrick Gamble, I will tell you now, that's gonna be my recommendation for the planning board. And that's, so like, I think if you've looked at his application, you'll see, I think he's gonna be great on Conservation Commission.
Good. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Historic Preservation Implementation Committee, 4 vacancies, which include 2 members with terms to expire the end of this year. No application submitted. Recommendation, none at this time, so I don't think we need to take any action. Long Range Planning Committee, 3 vacancies, 3 members with terms to expire at the end of this year, and those are 3 full voting members. Terms to expire at the end of the year, Rick Chenet, Alan Paul, and Robin Saunders. Richard and Alan have both termed out. Robin would like to renew and did submit an application. We have received the following applications for these vacancies: David Bork, Ed Hudgen, Rebecca Hatt, and Robin Saunders. The staff recommendation comes from Autumn Spear. Planning Director recommends reappointment of Robin Saunders and appointment of Ed Hudson and Rebecca Hatt. The staff recommendation is to move to appoint Robin Saunders as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028, and Jean Marie Caterina as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. Ed Hodgson as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028, and Rebecca Hatt as first alternate with a term to expire 2028. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second, but I will say that with.
Discussion.
Yup, I think coming out of staff, they were expecting or hoping for more applications. I did review the applications. They are very repetitive to other committees that we've had. I'm just relaying kind of the feedback I received offline, not in this memo, that if it's possible to wait and not appoint someone, but I know in the alternative, we don't like to have vacancies on committees. But I just kind of wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
I think in the past, we have said, you know what? We want to wait. This is a very active, important committee. Let's try to get a more variety of applications. I'm disappointed that we haven't gotten more. I will say typically in the past, there's like, look, I feel like we've been really busy, that sometimes we do try to recruit people that we think would be active members. And I don't know if that didn't happen this time or
Yeah.
what. So I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I could, Chair, just to clarify, are we talking about the alternate?
The new appointments.
The new,
Yes.
because
Yep.
I certainly do not have any issue with the reappointments.
Correct. I don't either. Not at all.
Yep.
Robin and Jean Marie are great. I think
Yep.
we're just seeing a small amount of applications for that committee, which is surprising, to be honest, disappointing. So I don't know if there's any appetite to wait and see if we can get more, or if we just want to move forward with what we have.
I would be inclined to move forward with what we have because I've got a lot of confidence in Robin Saunders and Jean Marie.
Yeah.
And therefore, I know that long-range planning, which your point is well taken, it is an important committee. And we may have to look at the whole issue of how do we recruit people who we think would contribute
Mhm.
to that.
So when you say move forward with what we have, does that mean
Take a vote
with the
now.
members that we have, or to take a vote on
The new appointee.
the new
On
appointee
the
as,
new
as
appointee.
recommended?
Yeah. What's your take?
Yeah. I mean, I can understand, the points about, wanting to broaden the applicant pool. That said, having reviewed the materials, I don't see any reason not to support the recommendation. And I don't know, I guess it's difficult to sort of have this sort of broached right now, but, you know, we have people who did come forward. I understand that there is some redundancy in terms of applications for other committees as well. I guess I honestly don't feel super strongly about it. I would be perfectly fine with what's recommended. And I don't know that there is some other sort of hypothetical other pool of applicants out there.
And I kind of think Autumn would have looked at this from, she has to deal with it. And
Right.
so she's not gonna make a recommendation. She's not
Right.
a wilting flower, so
Yeah,
she'd
Yeah.
have stepped up and I respect her opinion.
right. And if I recall correctly, this person who's recommended as first alternate is relatively young, relatively new to town, but I think
Yeah, he did a good
that
application.
can be, it's a good application, good background. And as someone who, just speaking for myself, back long ago, when I joined the planning board, I had only been in town for a couple of years. And I think it's good to have different
Yeah.
voices represented.
That's true. Good, then do we have a motion on the floor?
We do, yep.
We do, yes.
Okay, I'll accept from the discussion that we wish to proceed on the motion. All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Parks and Conservation Land Board, two vacancies, two members have their terms expiring and two full voting members. Terms to expire are Suzanne Foley Ferguson and Douglas Williams. Both have termed out. Following applications have been submitted: Betts Armstrong, Caitlin Barry, Susan Williams, Kerry Campbell, David Bork, Anton Bodor, and Richard Harvey. The staff recommends, this is Nick's at Community Services, recommends appointment of Betts Armstrong and Susan Williams. And staff recommendation is move to appoint Anton Bodor as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. Betts Armstrong as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028, and Susan Williams as second alternate with a term to expire 2028. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
No.
No, I mean, I know Anton, terrific contributor, Betts, contributor to the community. And so I'm good with these. All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Personnel Board of Appeals, two vacancies, created by two members with terms to expire on December 31, 2025, full voting members. Applications submitted were by Amanda Doherty and Susan Williams. The staff recommendation comes from Liam Gallagher, the Human Resources Director for Scarborough. He recommends Amanda Doherty and Susan Williams. The staff recommendation is to reappoint Amanda Doherty as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028. Appoint Penny Whitney as Dorian as a full voting member with a term to expire 2026. Brittany Jackson as first alternate with a term to expire 2027, and Susan Williams as second alternate with a term to expire 2028. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Penny Whitney is already on the committee now?
Correct.
Okay.
Should be pushed up to a full voting member.
Is she still a staff member?
I do not think she is.
Okay, because I know, and that's, I'm sorry,
wanna
before
say-
she was a staff she was staff.
Yeah,
So even though
I'm
she was a resident, I think there was some hesitancy in the past.
correct.
So I just, like, I saw her name, I'm like, wait, did that happen?
I think on her application, I want to say
Okay, it appears she's already on the board, which maybe I missed that.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to, I thought maybe it was an oversight, but I don't think it is.
yeah, I want to say Nick said she's no longer working for us.
Okay. I don't know. I would imagine if she worked for us, she could not be on the Personnel Board of Appeals.
Correct.
So we'll go with that,
Okay.
maybe asterisk, as long as,
With-
If I can check before these get posted to council next week, and if there is a problem.
okay.
You can bring it to our
Yeah,
attention.
Yeah.
I would, because I know, like, she worked part-time. for
Yeah,
services,
exactly.
Like, even that, I think I just want to make sure we're
Sure.
clear,
Yep, let me check and I will get you guys an answer by next.
but I still think we can move forward.
Otherwise, the matter is in order for a
Yep.
vote.
Mhm.
All in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you, with the caveat that staff will look into that question. To Planning Board. 3 vacancies. Including 3 members with terms to expire at the end of this month. Terms to expire are Rachel Hendrickson, Rick Meinking, and James Hebert. Rachel has termed out, which is a shame.
Mhm.
Rick and James both want to renew and have submitted applications. Following applications have been submitted: Rick Meinking, James Hebert, Rebecca Hatt, Ed Hodgson, David Bork, Carrick Gamble, and Mayor Hassanov. The staff recommendation is from Autumn Spear. Our planning director recommends reappointment of Rick Meinking and James Hebert as full voting members. She does not have a preference on the other member. The staff recommendation is to reappoint Rick Meinking and James Hebert as a full voting member, both with a term to expire 2028. Appoint Tyler Davis as a full voting member with a term to expire 2027. William Sedlak as first alternate with a term to expire 2026, and a recommendation from the committee as second alternate with term to expire 2028. So that last portion left to us a recommendation as to a second alternate amongst those who otherwise have applied but were not identified in the recommendation. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
As I said previously, I would be recommending that we appoint Carrick Gamble as the second alternate. I think we've all reviewed his application, currently getting his master's in public policy planning and management. I think that might, just having a planning background might bring a little bit different perspective. That's not a staff perspective, a resident perspective planning background. And then also this, appointing him would kind of continue that gap that I've been trying to fill between the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board, where we previously had Bennett Flanders, who was on both, and he just moved out of town. So we kind of lost that one resident who was on both committees, kind of
Mhm.
bridging the gap, bringing the conversations to each one. So I highly recommend doing that, because also with the Planning Board, I'll tell you, we're having a hard time having someone step up to be a liaison to the Conservation Commission. 'Cause we've had people on the Planning Board for a long time, and I think they give a lot of time and effort. It might be good to have, like, and that's who we had before, someone new with a lot of energy to kind of fill that gap and be able, ready to give the energy and time that's needed for those two committees.
Kristen, are we, in order to make a motion as to who, apropos of Karen's comments, as to the second alternate?
So I think the easiest way to do it is vote on the first section, going to the first alternate, and then Karen or whoever could make a motion to do
Very
to the
good.
second one.
We will follow that procedure. Further comment before I ask for a vote?
I guess I would say, and I don't know if this fits in procedurally based on what we just discussed, but I have mixed feelings about, and I understand the potential benefits of having some crossover and overlap. But, you know, to past comments, you know, that Karen has made in previous meetings, I think I do have mixed feelings about having someone on multiple committees when we're going to have, and we'll get to it, but I think, you know, we may have a little bit of musical chairs here where someone or potentially multiple people who are interested and could likely have something to offer are not going to find a spot.
Mhm.
So we can discuss that further. I mean, I was actually quite impressed with the Mayor Hassanov's background and their information. I don't have anything against Carrick Gamble's profile, and if he's willing to serve on two committees, that's great. But I do have that concern, just kind of in the spirit of wanting to encourage people to come forward and provide opportunities where there are good fits.
Any thoughts?
I mean, generally, I think one of our goals was to bridge the gap between planning board and conservation commission. You know, last year, despite my no vote, we nominated someone to 3 different committees when I didn't want that. And so I think there's, you know, we're not always consistent when it comes to that. I think Mahir, we're appointing him to another board in the next round. I mean, in the next committee.
Good.
Yeah, there is a recommendation on for a future one.
So, I mean, you know, my background, you know, I ran for town council because one of my big goals was to bridge the gap between planning and conservation. So for me, that's why I'm supporting him, because we put him on conservation.
Supporting,
Garrick Campbell,
good, okay.
Gamble.
And if this other gentleman is up for
Yeah.
another,
I mean, it's certainly not a hill I'll die on. I mean, I do think we need to be careful about publicly stating and seeming to establish a precedent for wanting, like, having a perception that there always needs to be someone from Conservation Commission on the planning board or whatever the combination might be. I appreciate where you're coming from, Karen, and I know that is something that you've campaigned on and talked about openly in the past, but I do think we need to be careful going forward about that sort of thing. But in this case, I can support the recommendation.
further discussion?
No,
Seeing none, all in favor?
we need to make a motion. So
Fine.
I move to appoint Carrick, I really hope we're saying his name right, Carrick Gamble, as the second alternate on the planning board with a term to expire in 2028.
Second.
Any further discussion on the matter? All in favor? Now, motion on the main recommendations as amended.
I think we're good. 'Cause we did 2 separate
Good.
motions, yeah.
Okay. Scarborough Housing Alliance Committee. 2 vacancies. 2 full voting members. Following applications submitted: Alan Paul, Rebecca Hatt, Mahir Hassanov, and Stephen Zimorowski. Staff recommendations come from Town Manager Tom Hall, recommends the reappointment of Stephen Zimorowski and the appointment of Mayor Hassanov. The staff recommendation moved to appoint Stephen Zimorowski and Mayor Hassanov as full voting members with a term to expire 2028. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Any, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Shellfish Conservation Commission, as I recall, we got a note that said there was some modification to that. Kristen, is that shellfish?
That's for ordinance
Ordinance.
committee.
That's,
Of course, I was just testing you to make sure you were all paying attention.
I passed.
You're so good. Shellfish Conservation Commission. 3 vacancies. 3 members with terms all to expire at the end of this year. Following applications have submitted Noah Nygren, Eric Quirk, Lillian Erickson, and Robert Willett, and Rebecca Hatt. The staff's recommendation comes from Darren Granada, the harbor master, who recommends reappointment of Noah Nygren and Eric Quirk and appointment of Robert Willett. The recommendation from staff is to move to appoint Noah Nygren, Eric Quirk, Robert Willett as full voting members with a term to expire 2028. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
Discussion. Anything on that? No further discussion. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Sustainability Committee, 2 vacancies. 2 members with terms to expire at the end of this year. The terms to expire are Deb McDonough and Lydia Job. The following application has been submitted: Deb McDonough, Lydia Job, Dennis Moran, and David Cunhard. Staff recommendation comes from Jamie Fitch, the Sustainability Manager, who recommends the reappointment of Deb McDonough and Lydia Job. Staff recommendation is to move to appoint Deb McDonough and Lydia Job as full voting members with the term to expire 2028. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
No.
No, nothing further. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Transportation Committee. And we are on our last page. 2 vacancies. Include 2 members with terms to expire at the end of this year. 1 Scarborough resident, 1 planning board representative. Terms to expire at the end of the year are Portia Hirschman and Roger Beely. The following application has been submitted: Portia Hirschman, Andrew Mackey, Alan Paul, Ed Hodgson, and Roger Shabbat. The staff recommendation is from Angela Blanchett, the town engineer, who recommends the reappointment of Portia Hirschman. The planning board will vote for their representative. And Kirsten, is that standard here?
Yes, it is. I verified that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recall it. So we have before us then a move to appoint Portia Hirschman with a term to expire 2028. That's the only action to be taken on this. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion?
I guess I don't really have any issue or alternative suggestion, but just sort of, again, for the public record, although there are 2 slots here, there's really, and despite the fact that we did have 4 or 5 different applicants, there's really only the 1 that we're voting on, and there's a returning member that's recommended.
That's right.
Planning board will vote for their.
Yeah, the planning board will take action on the other, all of those candidates are well-known, well-respected.
Right. That's, and that, I say that partly because as I read this, just kind of a shame that there are only so many slots to go around.
Yes.
And yet we have need in some other areas, but kind of is what it is on this one. And I think Portia is worthy of reappointing.
Good. Do we vote? Okay. So that did we finish?
We have a second motion?
No, it's so.
All in
We
favor?
have a second motion and we discussed. Yeah.
All in favor? Thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals, 2 vacancies, which include 2 members with terms to expire the end of the year. These are two full voting members. The terms to expire are Kyle Noonan and Richard Skillman. Kyle does not want to renew. Richard would like to renew and has submitted an application. We have the following applications submitted: Rebecca Hatt and Richard Skillman. The staff recommendation comes from Autumn Spear, the planning director, who recommends reappointment of Richard Skillman and the appointment of Rebecca Hatt. The staff recommendation is to move to appoint Richard Skillman as a full voting member with a term to expire 2028. Joseph Doherty as a full voting member with a term to expire 2026. Michael Campbell as first alternate with a term to expire 2026. And Rebecca Hatt as second alternate with a term to expire 2028. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, I will note, I was a little confused. It's actually Richard Silkman, not Skillman. So I don't, it's same guy. I just switched the L's and the K. I just wanted to note that because Richard was on the charter review with me. I remember him. He's a great guy. So it's good to see him on this, but I wanted to make sure it was the same guy.
It's
it is.
Richard Skillman,
Silkman. Yep.
spelled,
Silkman.
That was my fault.
Yep.
that typographical error would be overlooked
Well, and if,
in the interest of otherwise superior performance.
I just remember his.
Thank you.
So with that being said, I think what we're discussing Richard Silkman, it just says Skillman on our
Yeah.
memo.
Thank you, and I'll accept that as the way in which this motion is being presented on the floor.
Yep.
Further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. New committee for us to act on, which is the Tree Care Advisory Board. It has 7 vacancies. One full-time member with a term expired 2029, 2 full, expired 2028, 2 2027, a first alternate expired 2020, and second alternate 2028. Following application, singular, has been submitted. Andrew Mackey. Staff recommendation, no staff liaison at this time. Thomas Hall, the town manager, recommends appointment of applicants as they apply. The recommendation we have before us is to move approval of Andrew Mackey as a full voting member with a term to expire 2029. And he will be the only tree standing. Oh, sorry. No other tree jokes are allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Certainly happy, I've served on the board with Andrew before and he's terrific.
No, Andrew's great. If we're gonna have a first member, it's good to have him. As someone who was an advocate for the Tree Care Advisory Board, we should
Yeah.
probably get a council liaison. I don't know who that would be.
Yeah.
Maybe the one who wanted it. But we should get on recruiting that, which I don't think we'll actually have a hard time finding people. I just don't think anyone knows that it's now created and the application's out there.
And Andrew's a perfect person to recruit
Yes.
because he lives in that world.
Yep.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. And that concludes that business. Item 7 on the agenda is future agenda items.
I just did want to gauge the committee's interest in bringing tree care advisory board applications as they come. So like next month, if there's only one, do you want to have a meeting or would you like to see a few before we have another meeting? Up to you guys.
What's our ability to approve? What I would think we could do is 5 minutes before a town council meeting, we could have an appointments and negotiations meeting. If a member of the public applies for the tree advisory board, so that we wouldn't come separately, we combine it with a town council meeting. What's your thoughts on that?
Depends when our town council meeting's starting. They start at different times throughout. So I don't know if we would have to come in early, if we have a workshop. something like that. I guess, I think one of the questions is, what is the activity of the tree board right now? I don't think there's actually any current activity, and I'm looking around like I don't
Yeah,
think
there's-
any of us would know.
I talked to the town manager about it when we're deciding if we should bring Andrew's application now or wait a little longer. It sounds like they want to get going this spring if we can get a board going. And full
Okay.
Maybe
members.
it's like, I don't know, if February we have a bunch, that's great, but maybe try to wait till March to see if we can get more. I don't know. I mean, we
I can just
gauge it.
email you guys as they, come in and gauge interest on when to have a meeting if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
If we get an applicant and you advise all of us, the three of us can then talk about what the most convenient way for us to act on that application.
Okay, I can do that.
Because every 2 weeks, we're together anyways, and with ordinance. So there's 3 meetings a month, so it wouldn't take us long to convene a meeting.
And besides that, it's really just gonna be as needed if there's vacancies on any committees.
One topic for conversation that I didn't know if we could bring up just at the next time that we have a meeting was to discuss, now that we have a new ordinance that has people timing out, possibly moving up this whole process to either end of November, December. So we have a committee fully staffed come January. I will say some of the feedback I've gotten from, especially the active boards like community service, from the Conservation Commission is like, we're diving into, this statute on Monday or in January. And I mean, I've already getting emails from certain boards being like, when are we getting our alternate? When are we getting our new member?
Yes,
And also to be mindful of the people that are timing out, because I think we're currently dealing with, like, I know on planning board, like, oh, well, you've timed out, but we actually need you to come to January because we don't need to, but we would like you to come back.
Yep.
It's a little awkward. We've had a couple going away parties for people, and yet they technically are still on the
Yeah,
committees.
yeah.
So I don't know if I don't want to create a whole meeting out of this, but I do feel like it would be great to maybe try to alter the timeline of this process.
It's a good
to-
suggestion.
To do
yeah,
that.
I can tell you that as council chair, I have brought this up with the town manager.
Yeah.
As part of our leadership conversations, and I agree that it can be a little awkward, the way things are set up now. And I think there's a general recognition of that, acknowledgement of that. So it is something that I think is worthy of exploring further. That the fall, the latter part of the calendar is tricky, particularly for just in general, but also for the council in particular, because we're seating a new council and we're figuring out committees and so forth. It's a little bit of a hectic time, but I think your point is well taken, and it's worth looking into.
I feel like I had been on council not even a month when I was thrown into an appointments meeting in like December making decisions. And so like, I think we
Yeah.
haven't been always consistent. It depends on, I think, the election year. We have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And we can only ask so much.
Yeah,
I
right.
think especially of the
Well,
clerk during elections.
Right. And then there also is the factor, my understanding as well, is that it can sometimes be, that it can be a little tricky to sort of figure out who wants to renew.
Right.
And so that there's kind of a ripple effect, because then
Right.
you're asking everyone to think about things a little sooner, which is not necessarily insurmountable.
Yep.
But so there are some potential challenges. That doesn't mean that it can't be looked into. Yeah.
And then the other thing.
and let me
Yep.
say, Tom, Kristen, leadership should discuss this, because I've heard the same thing.
Yep.
That it gets extended. And it would be better if it could be 30 to 60 days sooner.
Mhm.
So.
Yep.
I think that's the place to leave it. We've all endorsed the idea of it, but the practical reality may interfere with any endorsement of doing that. And that I'm not sure, but I'm sure Tom has thought about that. And you can advise us as to your sense of our ability to move it up.
Absolutely.
There's got
Okay.
some time.
Good.
Yep.
Other,
Yes, so one of the other things that came out of my discussions was that currently we get staff recommendations. And I know in the past, like Don Hamill would actually reach out to chairs and say, I have an application, and ask the chair of a committee for a recommendation. And so, right now, staff recommendations isn't dictated by ordinance, policy, or anything. I think my imagination is like, we probably had a committee where we weren't getting through the meetings very quickly, and staff was helping us kind of manage making choices and things like that. So what I want you to think about, and to see if it's a possibility, is to get recommendations from the resident committees, the chairs, and I don't know, in addition to, or as an alternative to, but I do feel like we do have very active committees filled with residents, and then those residents elect a chair for that committee. And to me, I think it might be a little more work, or maybe not, to be asking them for recommendations. I have gotten them in the past, and then I've also gotten recommendations from a committee who is like, we really don't want this person, and then the staff recommendation is that person. And I think that
That's
is a little bit,
awkward.
it was a very awkward situation. It only happened once, but I think
Yeah.
they take that role very seriously on these committees, our chairs and members, and I think they would like to have a more active role and they're the ones sitting there every week, and they're the residents. So I don't expect a response from you guys. I don't want to have a
Well,
discussion, but
I think again, the same as we just said, if you were to discuss that with town council leadership and Tom Hall, that would be an appropriate way to advance the point you're making.
and that, I think we can come back with feedback from staff, because again, it's
Yeah.
not dictated by anything. I think it's just something they're doing to help us. And the more I've been on ANC, I'm going, hey, can we actually, because I
Mhm.
mean, that's why I'm sitting here today,
Yeah.
Don Hamill reached out to me as the chair of zoning board and just kind of was like, hey, Karen, like, do you like this person? Do you like being on zoning board? Do you want to do more?
Yeah.
And so I think I liked that part of it as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Okay.
All right. Future agenda items, anything further to discuss in that regard? We all set? Then motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. We are adjourned.